Hello, hello, hello. Hey, this is Warren Redlick. Just checking in. Relatively unplanned live stream here today, but we had a big production from xAI. We had a big production. I'm not sure if you guys just got started. We had a big production from xAI about the launch of Grok 4. I've been playing with it for a few hours today. I'm not testing it in the way other people test it, so my experience is a little different. I'll talk about that first, but just the first big story is what's going on with Tesla. So the biggest story with Tesla, before we get to xAI, hello Elon fanboy. The biggest story is um, that Robotaxi is expanding to a larger service area in Austin this weekend. So Robotaxi is already growing. Oh, it's only a little trial. Okay, now it's going to be a bigger trial. And John from Tesla owner Silicon Valley asked, when's the Bay Area? And Elon said, waiting on regulatory approvals, but probably in a month or two. Okay, so it's July. So September, October, and ideally August, but more likely September, October, we will see Tesla robotaxis operating in California as well. Thank you, John. Thank you, B. We're going to talk about Grok next. Grok is coming. Grok is a big chunk of this conversation. So the robotaxi network is growing. It's growing in Austin shortly. My guess is this won't be the full extent of Austin. It's going to be more of the city of Austin. Gradually, we expect to see Grok expand to the greater Austin area, which would include places like Bastrop, where the SpaceX and Boring Company facilities are, the airport. Giga Texas is currently outside of the area. That'll be inside the area. Who knows, Round Rock, whatever. There's a lot of area around Austin, and who knows, maybe it goes to San Antonio, which is a big haul. So if they start doing Austin to San Antonio, that would be a big deal. That won't be $4.20 though. I'm not sure what the pricing is going to be. That's a whole nother issue. So that's the first big piece of news. Robotaxi network is expanding. Now, if you are like me, a Tesla investor, and you're wondering, I don't really worry about this that much, but a lot of people do. When is Tesla's share price going to get unlocked? Right? When is something going to happen that's going to unlock the share price? And those of us who follow this closely think the Robotaxi network is a big driver of the long-term value of Tesla as a company, Optimus being the other big driver. And if Robotaxi expands fairly quickly, if we go from 20 cars in a small part of Austin to 100 cars in a larger part of Austin to 1,000 cars in the greater Austin area, and then 1,000 cars in San Francisco Bay Area and 1,000 cars in the LA area, and that all happens by the end of this year, now you have what looks like rapid growth. And if you see that rapid growth, and then at some point, what I can't tell you is at some point the Wall Street analysts figure out, this might be bigger than we've been saying. This might actually happen. This might be really valuable, and we're going to have to adjust. So the fairly quick growth of the Robotaxi network look, Elon said this weekend, that's not a 2 weeks thing. This a month, probably in a month or two, is not a very compelling thing from Elon. That could be 3 or 4 months, right? That's probably by the end of the year. And then that's Bay Area. He didn't mention Los Angeles. I thought Los Angeles was going to be before the Bay Area. So we'll see with that. So that's good news. Next big thing is Sawyer mentioned, I watched this live stream live. It was 10 a.m. here it was supposed to start at 10 a.m. here in Thailand. Really started like after 11 a.m., but that's Elon events. So Sawyer mentioned no mention of Grok coming to Tesla vehicles. Elon said Grok coming to Tesla vehicles very soon, next week at the latest. And I have to say, I personally will use Grok in the car. I am like very excited about having Grok in the car. I'm driving with my wife, and my wife might have an English question. Why do they say it this way? Right. And I am pretty good at tapping the button on the car. There's a microphone button on the car steering wheel and saying, take me home. Right. There are things that you can say to the car. If I can say, hey, Grok, please explain why British people say in it when they mean isn't it. Right. Just an example of hey, and please explain it in Thai language. Right. To be able to have that, because that's something that I do with her at home, or we're out at a restaurant and I'll go on my phone and say, hey, can you explain this to my wife in Thai? My wife speaks English, but to really understand something deeper, if there's a subject, if there's a content topic I wanted to understand, then I get Grok to explain it to her in Thai. So getting Grok on the vehicles is a big deal to me. I don't know what else Grok will do in the vehicles beyond just being there to have conversations. Will Grok be able to control a car? That will be a big deal if you can actually ask Grok to, like, maybe Grok's on the phone connected to the Tesla app, and you say, hey Grok, please turn the air conditioning on the car, set it to this temperature, please, make the seat cooler on. Like, I don't know, like, what level of interaction will there be between Grok in the car and the car's controls, between Grok on your phone and the car's controls? Because right now I can turn the air conditioning on in the car, but it might be cool if I'm in Grok to say, hey Grok, we're going to the car soon, could you please turn the AC on? That's a small thing, but there may be larger things that will come out. Grok must integrate with FSD, if not out of the gate, then soon. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's, take me home. Will Grok be better at taking voice commands about where I want to go than the car is? Right now, the car is actually pretty good at that. It's not perfect, but I would say it's better than Google Maps. When I say, hey, take me somewhere, if I name a place name, hello, Mark, hello, B. Yeah, I don't know about, I just think San Antonio and Austin, sorry, Chomsky says good radius around Austin, San Antonio, Dallas, and Houston would be amazing. I said San Antonio in particular because San Antonio and Austin are almost the same metro area. Houston and Dallas are farther. But Austin and San Antonio, they're like, there's like one road that, they're really, you could almost argue they're one really large metro area. I know people in San Antonio are going to say no and Austin are going to say no, but they're not that far apart. Especially as fast as Texans drive. So before I go on, I don't. This isn't going to be as long of a live stream as usual. So just like that, everyone has forgotten America Party. No, we have not forgotten the America Party. That's like very heavy conversation. The minute Team Trump decided to pretend Epstein didn't happen, the America Party got stronger. Even my Democrat friends who are angry about Epstein and blame the Democrats, and now the Republicans is like, oh, yeah, maybe this America Party needs a shot. Can you comment on but again, the America Party, like, Elon doesn't need to talk about the America Party for now. He needs to build there's stuff they need to do under the hood to get things ready. And I think he's got Andrew Yang on board. That's going to happen. I don't know. I just think it's going to happen. William asks, can I comment on the automated cleaning for robotaxis that being implemented? Not yet. I mean, they're not at scale. The automated cleaning is intended for cybercab. I don't know if they've been designed automated cleaning for. They have a specific robotaxi cleaning robot for cybercab. I don't think they have, and they designed cybercab to be easy to clean by the robot. Right? The seats are there's less, there's no like notches in the seats for stuff to fall into, so it's easier for the robot to clean the car. So I believe that that's going to be ready for cybercab next year. I don't think that they need automated cleaning for Model Ys. The volume isn't there. The cost of actually just having humans clean the cars is still trivial compared to the price you're going to get per ride long term. So I don't think that needs to be. Same thing with charging. Like, charging will be automated, but the cost of charging with a human just isn't that high. Need to be able to say, pull over behind the red car, let me out and park and wait for me. Yeah, I think that's probably another generation of Grok away, but I don't know. We'll see. And thank you, Mark, for your posts. Yeah, but please like, share, and subscribe. Please follow me on X. Look in the chat for Mark if you're on YouTube. I'm not even watching the share price. What is it? It's up a little bit? Okay. Yeah, it's not $1,000 yet. So just another thing, because I'm a content creator, just talking about the X platform for a second. And we got a big political issue coming that's not really partisan that we're going to talk about in a second. But Yashu, who I follow on X, says there's no worse platform to watch long form videos than X Twitter. Like, I tend not to watch long videos on X. There's some issues. YouTube is a very easy platform to watch long videos. X is a little bit of a harder. You tend to lose your place. It doesn't retain where you were as well. It's hard to move back and forward. It's hard to do chapters. YouTube is much better implemented for that. So he's got some criticisms. Elon says, yes, it needs to be fixed. I agree the demand is there. I want to watch long form videos on X too. And as a content creator, uploads are too slow. And I would love to see a homepage on X where you can go, videos.x.com, right? There's an adult film website that's like X videos or something like that. So you have to be careful how you do that. But I would like to see a media.x.com or something where you can go and you can browse photos or browse videos and have a homepage for that instead of the way it's right now. It's almost like on the iPhone, I click a button on the bottom and I can watch short videos or whatever, but it's not the same. And I think it could be a lot better. So I'm hoping that's something that X does. I don't think it's the highest priority for X. It's not something that I really worry about. I want to see X payments and some other things featured on the app before I worry about video. I'd love to see shopping built in, and we can refer people to items. And as a content creator, I can maybe make some extra referral money from, hey, I really love this product, check it out. Or make my own merch and have a merch store on the site so I can push my t-shirts. Yeah, I think the Robotaxi thing, it's one thing when Elon says it's another thing when it happens. But if it starts growing and it starts growing quicker, and like I said, if we see the greater Austin area by the end of the year, maybe even in San Antonio by the end of the year, and if we see, I don't know if they're going for San Antonio or not, if we see Los Angeles and San Francisco by the end of the year, and there's thousands of Robotaxis rolling around, and at some point, I don't know when Wall Street figures it out, but at some point they got to figure it out, right? Okay, so any concerns with the CEO of X quitting? Good. I'm glad you asked that. I forgot to mention that. Linda Yaccarino, the CEO of X, announced that she was departing. I'm not sure if she's left yet or if she said she's going to leave because she still had the X affiliation on her profile last I saw. I think xAI and X merged. And so I don't know if it made sense to have two co-CEOs. I think maybe she got them over the hump she needed to get over. There's not really a funding issue anymore because xAI now owns X. So I think there's a lot of other things driving it. Please comment on the recent Grok loose cannon debacle. That's not a debacle. Okay. So somebody got Grok to say rude things, right? Like anybody can take any of these LLMs and play enough games and you can get them to say stupid stuff. I want you to pretend you're Hitler, right? And you find a way and you can get them to say stupid stuff. So out of 1 billion prompts today, 3 assholes got Grok to say stupid stuff. Maybe it was yesterday, whatever. And then, of course, whoever does it is buddies with media, and they try to make a big story out of some LLM said something rude. Who cares? I mean, there's stories of LLMs persuading people to off themselves, right? Well, it's not that bad, right? So I think it's a typically overblown story that, you can always find something. If you've got 100 million prompts a day or 1 billion prompts a day, and then you've got people who are like deliberately trying to manipulate the system, it's going to happen. But was someone hurt, or did just somebody like make a story out of nothing? It's no big deal. Okay, so the political thing I wanted to talk about, and this is credit to Jeff Lutz here, and Elon responded to this, by the way. Mark Benioff said China added 93 gigawatts of solar in May of this year alone, which is like 3 giant nuclear plants a day. China is growing electricity generation really fast through solar. The stable genius who runs our country and his team, which I have now become convinced that Trump was bought and paid for by fossil fuels, as opposed to Biden and Kamala, who are bought and paid for by other special interests. And really, Biden was bought and paid for by fossil fuel and lobby too. But the United States decided to tariff Chinese solar panels and removed any incentives to purchase it in the United States in the big bogus bill, the big baloney bill. And that's only the beginning. I mean, they're taxing copper. They're tariffing things we don't make in the United States. They're tariffing things we don't produce in the United States, which makes it harder. That may increase the cost. Somebody said that Tesla gets its copper. There's some copper mining in the United States, so Tesla gets its copper in the U.S. That'll be okay. But the price of copper, if you tariff foreign copper, then domestic copper producers are going to increase their prices too. So for some reason, the Trump administration decided to impose tariffs on things we don't like, because sometimes you see a country that will tariff a product that they make. Like Thailand has very high tariffs on imported cars, except from China for some reason. But if I wanted to bring a Cybertruck to Thailand, 130% tariff. Something like 130% tariff. I'm not even getting into the other hassles I would have had to deal with. I wanted to buy a Cybertruck and bring it here, but it's like, 130% tariff, that's going to do it for me. I probably would have been able to sell it and make a profit too, but I just wasn't willing to commit that much capital to make that happen. Well, Thailand has persuaded some companies, including Ford and Toyota and Isuzu in particular, even BYD, to make cars here in Thailand. And part of that deal, China is getting a break on tariffs for bringing vehicles from China here. So my Tesla, which came from Giga Shanghai, was either not tariffed or low tariffed. But why do they have the tariff? Because they want to develop their own auto industry. They want to create jobs for Thai people to make cars. Okay, and to create values in the Thai economy. I don't agree with that strategy, but that's a common strategy. But the United States, we're tariffing stuff we don't make. What's the strategy there, stable genius? And this is a big thing. This is the really big issue. We have a massive debt problem, and the Trump team's story is we're going to grow out of the debt. We're going to grow really fast because we're doing all these big things. And here's the sticking point. One of the things you need to grow is if you want to produce more stuff, if you want to consume more stuff, you want more electricity to be able to produce the stuff and more electricity to be able to generate to consume this stuff. You want more copper to be able to make stuff. Like there's things that you want to do to produce things. Well, you need to, there's things that you don't have and you need them. So if you want to produce electricity, the fastest way to grow electricity, China is showing us the way. Massive solar. That doesn't mean you can't do natural gas plants. It doesn't mean you can't do coal plants. It doesn't mean you can't do nuclear, but why not do solar? What's the harm in adding solar? Right? And the United States is saying, yeah, we don't want any more solar. But that's the way you grow. And if you don't grow electricity generation fast, you won't grow your economy fast. It doesn't work. And if you can't get copper, and if you identify, you're like tariffing things that you, like if you're tariffing things that you make in America, and okay, that stuff's hard to get from overseas, but we can just make more of it here. Okay, but if you don't even make it here, or you don't produce enough copper to supply what's needed, it's not very bright. Okay, I'm looking at the chat again. Tesla's up 3%. Okay, I'm not a follow Tesla stock. Maybe I should do a live stream every day from 9:30 a or 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. America time about what's going on with the stock, but I just don't care that much. I'm not a daily person on that. So let's look in the chat again. What does Grok 4 cost? It's if you are a Premium Plus subscriber to X like I am, it's included. If you want the Grok 4 Heavy, which is, I think it'll run like 10 instances of Grok for as long as needed to get the answer to your question, and then it's like $300 a month. I think it's $30 a month if you're not already an X Premium Plus subscriber. I think it's $30 a month through, and maybe $300 a year straight through Grok, through xAI. And then it's $300 a month or $3,000 a year maybe for Grok 4 Heavy, which is like you want to do heavy duty research. You want to ask crazy science questions or whatever. And I didn't look into that. I don't think I'm going to be using Grok 4 Heavy that much. I may give it a shot. I don't think so. Grok 4 is built for building companies, not for Joe Schmo doing some prompts at home. I think it's built for Grok 4 is built for everyone. Grok 4 Heavy is built for doing heavy stuff. And yeah, if you're building a company, if you're doing heavy duty scientific research, then paying $3,000 a year is nothing. Mark says I lost all my money in FCX stock. I don't even know what FCX is, Mark. Solar has lowest cost of electricity. Yes. SWB is the power of the future. Yeah, solar. I think that's solar wind batteries, SWB. I'm not sure how the solar is the lowest cost is calculated, and I think there are people who would argue, well, you're including, it's not the lowest cost if you got to pay a 3,000% tariff on the panels. It's not necessarily low cost if you pay 8% interest rates on deploying solar on your roof. Like there's contexts where it's lowest cost, but if your government decides to make it high cost, well, then it's not low cost anymore. And that is the government we have. And I want to be clear because people keep bugging me about, well, Warren, you voted for Trump. You supported Trump. It's like, well, I think if Kamala had been elected president, Elon would be in prison right now or jail waiting for trial. I'm sorry, but that's, that was my perspective. When I voted for Trump, it was because I thought Kamala wanted to arrest Elon. The Biden administration and Kamala's candidacy and the Democratic Party were openly anti-Elon. Trump at least faked it and pretended to be pro-Elon and did some pro-Elon things. He did some anti-Elon things. He's done some things that are not good for the country. But he's also still done some good things for the country and good things for the world. Kamala would have not handled Gaza well, would not have handled Ukraine well, would not have handled Iran well, and probably would have put Elon in jail by now. Yeah, I don't even. FCX is Freeport McMoran Mines. I don't know. I mean, this isn't a mining channel. This isn't like a invest in companies channel. This is a Tesla channel, and we talk about Grok and other Elon companies and other tech when there's something good. I like, just on a side note, I want to just cover this because this sticks in my craw a little bit. The Elon haters and the Tesla haters will like say, "Oh, look," and I just did a video recently. They'll point to some EV, Xiaomi SU7 or something like that, and they'll say, "Oh, it's a Tesla killer," and I'll make a video saying, "No, it's not a Tesla killer." Oh, you hate other EVs. I didn't say I didn't like the car. We were driving home tonight behind a BYD Sea Lion 7, which is another Tesla killer that didn't kill Tesla. Another Model Y killer that didn't kill Model Y. And it's a nice, and like, I think the Sea Lion 7 is a nice EV, and it's significantly less expensive than Model Y. But my wife and I, we'll see there's BYDs, a lot of BYDs here. We'll see BYDs, and like, we both, oh, look, BYD. We like this is the thing that I think that the Tesla haters don't get. Tesla fans love other EVs. I want to see more other EVs. We were out, we just leased, this is a little detail, I'll be talking more about this in the future. We signed a lease on a shop house that my wife is going to rent, and my wife is going to run a business, a cafe and co-working space, and I'll probably be shooting my videos there. I might start building the pod car there. I'm like customer number one. My mother-in-law is going to she's a custom dressmaker from Bangkok. She'll set up her equipment there and make dresses there. And I don't know, maybe somebody will come in and buy a dress. I'm not sure how that's going to work. But it's just like and it's like $500 a month rent for this 3-story thing in a great location, 5-minute walk from our house. So cool. So anyway, I just want like this point. So anyway, we're signing the lease, and the landlord's son drives a Deepel SO7, which is another Tesla killer, right? It's another SUV similar and stuff, but they're all like the Deepel, and the BYD Sea Lion 7. They sort of Tesla Model Y killers, but they end up being a little bit smaller on the outside. They have less range, and then they have a lot less space on the inside. And even this Xiaomi SU7, it's actually bigger on the outside, but smaller on the inside. Tesla's really, really good at efficiency. So when I criticize Chinese EVs, it's not that I don't like Chinese EVs. And I say this is true generally for other Tesla supporters like Stephen Mark Ryan and Farzad, and we don't dislike other EVs. We like other EVs. We want to see other EVs work with Tesla to get rid of those smelly gas vehicles. So that's just a point. Oh, track and field. Hey, my email's wredlick@gmail.com, or DM me on X if you're a verified member. We are planning to visit Nakhon Si Thammarat maybe later this month. We're gonna drive over there to. We want to look at a particular office, and so I'm hoping to visit there. So track and field, if you wredlick@gmail.com, wredlich@gmail.com. Send me an email, and maybe we can meet up. Nakhon Si Thammarat is on the east coast of Thailand, a little southeast. We're on the west, sort of the westish coast, near the west coast of Thailand. I guess we're technically on the west coast, but they're on the other side. But they're about 2.5-hour drive from here, and we were planning to go on a road trip there. Joe Bhakti says once Tesla's in 1,000 robotaxi vehicles, Wall Street has to take notice. I don't know what Wall Street's threshold is. I think you could argue it's when it shows up in the financials. I don't know. Wall Street is hard to. Joe Bhakti, I should interview him. I don't like interviewing people where I agree with him on everything. I think Joe and I agree on everything. I'm not sure. I don't interview Stephen Mark Ryan. He doesn't interview me. Like, what are we going to talk about? Like, yeah, Like, that's just, what kind of interview is that? But I just think this is important, and credit to Jeff Lutz for pointing this out. Like, I don't know what the administration is doing. So, all right. So I didn't want to do a long one. I just, really exciting. If you haven't seen it, go on x.com, look for the xAI account, watch their video about Grok. I would say, the highlights of Grok it's the highest performing large language model for now, I think. And if you look at, his name is escaping me. Elon replied to one of Hans Nelson. Hans Nelson did a long post explaining why he thinks this is the start of the dominance of xAI and Grok. I'll come back to your question in a second, Steve. Look at Elon replied to this post, but look where Hans Nelson, he has a long post about why this is the start of dominance of Grok. Because xAI is building out massive clusters faster than anyone else, because I think they're maybe more innovative at getting the right data, and because they have so much compute, if you have the wrong data, it can work it out and get through it. I should mention, Elon mentioned very clearly that Grok will be an Optimus, and that Grok on Optimus will be critical for the development of Grok, for the development of the AI. That the AI needs to interact with the real world to really get this, and this is part of Hans's post, is that you need to. There's a limit to human text data. They're pretty much all the AI companies are at their limit of human text data, and they're manufacturing synthetic data, which is dodgy. So you want to get other sources of data, and you just have robots walking around collecting real world data. The cars are driving around collecting real world data. It may be that real world data that they're collecting by driving around, walking around, interacting in the real world, that may be useful for growing your AI. When is FSD likely to be used in semis? I think that's probably 2027 at the earliest. Maybe 2028. I mean, they're not manufacturing semis in volume until 2026, and they probably won't have scale until end of 2026. So I wouldn't expect FSD to be meaningful in semi until 2027. How are you able to live in Thailand? What kind of paperwork? I have what's called a destination Thailand visa. Anyone from a Western country or wealthy country, including like Japan, Korea, whatever, most countries, you can just arrive and they'll give you I think they now have something you're supposed to, I think there may be like a digital entry card that you fill out online before you come. But basically you show up. You do want to make sure you check what you're doing before you come, but basically most people get like a 60-day visa-free entry to Thailand. And then you can usually extend another 30 days, and then you can go on a weekend trip to Kuala Lumpur or Japan or whatever, Vietnam, and come back and start the clock again. And then if you're over 50, you can usually get a retirement visa. If you marry a Thai woman like I did, you can get a marriage visa. Thailand finds ways. If you want to become to Thailand, you want to stay here long term, you can find a visa for it. Education visa. Like I don't recommend the education visa. I think the destination Thailand visa is currently the best choice for. That's why I'm actually probably going to change to a long-term resident visa if there's a tax benefit to that. But the destination Thailand visa, it's like $400 for a 5-year visa. It's pretty good. Grok cars in a parking lot could sing a chorus. Interesting. Yeah, I thought the singing demonstration and the Grok presentation was a little odd. Loads of paperwork involved in moving to another country. Loads more if and when you move back. There's not a lot of paperwork in coming to Thailand. I hired it's called Bantai, BAAN, Bantai Immigration Services in Bangkok, and I don't know, I paid him I'm sure it was less than $1,000. It might be less than $500. I don't remember what I paid him. I really like Bantai Immigration Services, and I would encourage you to, if you're interested, to contact them. The guy's name's Mark Friedman. And there's a Thai staff there. I would talk to them if you wanted to come here and you don't want to do the paperwork yourself. They're going to ask you to send them the paperwork, but they'll get everything in order. Do I think I'll move back to the U.S. in the future? I'm technically a U.S. resident, a Florida resident. I'm a Florida man still. I pay car insurance. I have, legal residence. My phone is a Florida phone number. Is it? Whatever. I have multiple phones actually. I'm hoping to visit in October. I'm probably going to visit in October. I would say long term, I don't have a plan to live in the U.S. long term, but it's possible. Thailand's pretty nice. My new life and my wife are treating me quite well. Yes, my wife is over there. It is bedtime soon, so I'm going to be wrapping this up soon. I was at the gym earlier today, had a great workout. We went to a talat. DTALAT. Talat is a market. A Thai market is something different, and if you come to Thailand as a tourist, you might go to a market like Jattajak Weekend Market or something, and there's markets that are aimed at foreigners, and there's places in Thailand that are focused on foreigners, and they're not my opinion, that's not the real Thailand. So we were at a talat tonight that's a real Thailand talat. We go to them all the time. And we went to a temple called Wat Tham Sua. Wat means temple. Tham means cave. So it's a temple with a cave. It's also got we didn't go to the top. There's a mountain and there's a Buddha on top of the mountain. We haven't been to the top of this mountain yet. It's like 1,260 steps. It's apparently quite grueling to go up there. So we haven't done that yet, but we did go to the caves today with my wife, my mother-in-law, the two grandnieces, and then one of their friends. And we were walking, probably walked a few kilometers and up. I think that was 200 steps. And then we had to go back up and down or whatever. So it's a good day. Another good day. Lots of good days. Any plans to go to Fiji? No, I'm not even sure where Fiji. I think Fiji's in the Pacific somewhere. No idea. Yeah. We are hoping to have children. We're probably going to start using some magic scientific intervention soon. That's why we might go to Nakhon Sitamarat, because there's a clinic there. We're also going to visit some clinics in Bangkok. Trying it the regular way is a lot of fun, but if you really want to make it happen, sometimes you got to take some extra steps. So, all right. Well, anyway, I'm really excited. I think Grok 4. I'm sorry. One more thing. Grok 4. I have regular conversations or long-standing conversations with different AIs about my fitness, my diet, my cardio fitness, my strength training, ancillary questions related to that. It might be like, what do you think about this supplement or whatever? A lot of different things that I have these long conversations. I've had these long conversations with ChatGPT. I've had them with Grok 3. I've had them with Gemini most recently. I've had them with Claude from Anthropic. And so I started a new conversation today with Grok 4 on the same subject. I will say this. One of the things that stands out to me about Grok 4 versus Grok 3, which is a small thing, but there are settings in Grok to say, I want concise answers, I want regular answers, I want long answers, whatever. There's custom instructions to Grok about what kind of answers you want. And Grok 3 was bad at following those instructions, and Grok 4 was like too good. I had the concise setting on and forgot. And Grok 3 wasn't very good at being concise, so it like kind of didn't matter. I didn't fix it. I just sort of left it hoping maybe it would be concise, and I wasn't even thinking about it anymore. And I was like, boy, why is Grok 4 being so short with me? And I realized, oh, it was the concise setting, so I took the concise setting off. So, it's hard to, this is the thing, it's hard to review Grok 4, because I'm just telling you, with that type of conversation, because the conversations I've had with, and I'll have the conversation, and I'll have a workout, and I'll say, here's what I did in my workout today. What do you think? Well, I had one workout. So I haven't had enough data to give Grok 4 to get an assessment of how it handles that data. And like a really good example is when I do my cardio workout, I wear a forearm heart rate monitor that gets a really good heart rate tracking. And then it'll generate a graph, and it'll show like the peaks in an inner, like 6 peaks in my rehit/sprint training interval workout. Right. And I'll be able to have a conversation, here's what my heart rate was like. What do you think? And, honestly, I've had these conversations so much, I don't know how much more I'm going to get. I think I have really good feel for what I'm doing. But like, is it going to have some additional insight that the other ones haven't had yet? Is it going to say some things? Like, I feel like the conversation I had today was pretty good, but it's not long enough yet to give it a good assessment. And it's like, I'm not like I'm going to ask Grok, hey, can you solve the, fundamental theories, can you solve some fundamental physics for me? I'm not going to be doing that, right? I don't have I think it's engineered to like answer deep science and deep physics questions, and I'm not the guy to test that. How's the healthcare over there? I would say healthcare is very inexpensive. Some people believe you should have health insurance. I think it depends on how much money you have. I've decided to basically self-insure for now. I may at some point have to get health insurance if I get a different visa, but for now I can just self-insure. I think my favorite example of this is I went and got something called a VO2 max test. I was testing my cardio fitness at Bangkok Hospital in Bangkok. There's multiple Bangkok hospitals, by the way, in different places. So the one in Bangkok. And I think I had a cardiology consult at the beginning with a cardiologist. Then I did this 30 or 45-minute thing with a technician who like set me up on this bike with a mask and, like all the leads or whatever, and rode my ass off hard on the bike. I'm sorry, it was a treadmill. Ran my ass off on the treadmill, and then we got my results, and then I sat down with the cardiologist again for a second consult. This is all like, there's no insurance. $80. My copay for physical therapy in the US was $85 before I left. I got 2 consults with a cardiologist and the equivalent of a physical therapist for like 30, 45 minutes for $80. My nephew hit his head. We took him to a private hospital instead of the government hospital because the private hospital was closer. And $300, including an MRI, and part of the $300 was $60 to take him to the government hospital for overnight observation because the family didn't want to keep him in the expensive hospital for overnight observation. $300 for an emergency room visit with an MRI. Okay. So healthcare, and then I would say I personally prefer Japan for healthcare, which is comparable or less expensive in some cases. I think sometimes it's difficult. I don't think every doctor's that great here. I think you're sort of like you want to find the doctor you like, which is kind of true in America also. Let's be blunt. Um, Talking to Grok is like talking to a friend. I have great conversations with Grok about lots of topics. We'll see how that goes. No Medicare overseas. I believe that's correct. Do I frequently see Teslas in Thailand? No, not here. I see them more in Bangkok. The Tesla store is in Bangkok, which is 800 kilometers or 500 miles away. It's harder to sell Tesla, and there's no supercharger in Krabi where I live. So, I see some. I see a lot more BYDs. There's BYD store here. There's a Deeple store. There's a MG store. MG is a Chinese EV brand. Grok could teach other language through spoken training. Actually, one of the things I was doing with Grok today was give me some sample sentences in Thai. I was like, give me 5 sentences in Thai using time words. Using, today, tomorrow, yesterday, next week, last week, this week, month, time of day, whatever. Give me 5 sentences like that. Give them to me in Thai writing. Give them to me the transliteration, which is how it's pronounced, and then give me the meaning in English. And that's a common thing I've been doing with Grok. So I don't think it's a particularly hard thing. So I don't think that's a really good test for Grok 4. Why would Grok 4 have built-in voices? I don't know the answer to that one. It was called a stress test. It's called a VO2 max test. It's different than a stress test. VO2 max test and stress test are two different things. VO2 max test is measuring how efficiently you use oxygen. Oh yeah, I paid $2,000 a month for health insurance. I think you mean $2,000. Yeah, it's crazy. Who is the biggest, best content creator, right? Tesla content creator right now? That's a hard question to answer. I mean, on X, Sawyer Merritt, Holmar's blog, Elon. Elon's clearly the biggest Tesla content creator, but outside of Tesla team or Tesla counts, I would say Sawyer Merritt's probably one of the biggest. Holmar's blog is one of the biggest. Farzad's big. There are too many Tesla content creators, B says. So yeah, I used to have a lot more success here on YouTube when there were a smaller number of Tesla content creators. I would say the number of Tesla content creators has at least 10x, if not 20x. Some of the best ones reduced their content creation. Dave Lee's one of the best, and he produces a lot less. Rob Mauer's gone. And I feel like I actually have been making less videos because, like, well, what do I have to add to the conversation if everybody's saying everything? I think Stephen Mark Ryan's really good, right? But like, if I make a video and Stephen makes a video, like, I feel like we're like identical twin cousins or something. Like, we think the same way on almost everything, except he's better looking, smarter, and funnier. But who is the best Tesla content creator? I mean, I don't know if you would call him a content creator, but James Dauma on X, James Dauma, Green the Only. Green is less productive. They don't contribute a lot frequently. Jeff Lutz is very good. I think Holmars is good. I think I'm good, but like, I think, Holmars and I talk, maybe we post too many times. So it's like filtering what's the good content. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, and honestly, like, I feel like a lot of the content creators are just saying, "Oh, Elon said this." Like, well, I can just follow Elon for that. I don't need you to tell me what Elon said. It's fun to ask Grok yes or no questions about controversial topics. It can be. How's the lingo going, or is it all Google Translate? Oh, I have about a 500 word Thai vocabulary. If I go to a restaurant, I order in Thai. If I go to a store, I can buy things in Thai. I'm learning to like construct a sentence where I say, I think that blah, blah, blah. You have the, I'm doing this. Well, I think I'm going to do this, right? Or I want to I say this too, right? I'm developing some like level of like grammatical being able to say this or that, or because this, like I'm getting some level of that. Um, why does he think 1,000 robotaxis is the number? Yeah, who knows? Yeah, Dave Lee is a great content creator for about Tesla, but he's been quiet. James Dalmo, there's like four, I think three or four. I've watched two of them. Dave Lee interviewed James Dalmo twice. Somebody else interviewed him once. Maybe there's another one. James Dalmo is like the best for me, like my favorite person to watch explain things, because like half the stuff that's happening is like I'm too dumb of a chimp to understand that. And James explains it and I understand it a little bit better after he explains it. And then I watch it a second time and I understand it a little bit better. Um, and I think outside of Tesla, like follow Andre Karpathy, even though he's not a Tesla guy anymore, he's great. Um, English is better in the Philippines. English is better in Malaysia, absolutely. But I like learning Thai. I'm getting better. Slowly, slowly, slowly getting better. I live in the city called Krabi, it's Gabi, Krabi. It's about 2-hour drive from Phuket. It's a special Krabi is special because it's a tourist area. But the tourist area is an area called Ao Nang. And if you go to Ao Nang, there's foreigners everywhere. And if you're in Krabi town where I am, then it's mostly Thai people. And my personal thing is I didn't come to Thailand to hang out with foreigners. Right? I came to Thailand to be with Thai people. So, and I feel like if you're hanging out in the areas where there's mostly Thai people, you're seeing the real Thailand. And if you hang out in the areas that have foreigners, then you're seeing foreigner land. And that's, if you go to Bangkok and you're in the area called Sukhumvit, or you go to Jadojak Weekend Market, there's places you go that all the foreigners go. If you look around you, and over the course of a day, you've seen only 5 foreigners, you're in regular Thailand. If you look around you and there's 20 foreigners around you right now, then you're in foreigner land. And there really isn't a lot of places that aren't one of those two. You're either in one or you're in the other. I mean, maybe you're somewhere and there's only 5 foreigners around you, you're still in foreigner land. But if you don't see, if you see 5 foreigners or less during the day, during the entire day, you're in Thailand. The Tesla YouTubers need the stock price to go up so they can maintain an audience. I don't know if that matters. I think that as long as people are excited about Tesla if you're a Tesla stock YouTuber, maybe the stock price matters more. But if you're a Tesla YouTuber and you're talking about, hey, there's this cool feature, my Model Y is awesome, it's so quiet, I don't think it matters as much. Will the next phase of robotaxi growth not include adding safety drivers in the cars? At some point, they will take there's no safety drivers in the cars. At some point, they will probably take the guys out of the passenger seat. I'm not sure when. I think they can go to 1,000 vehicles and still have a safety person in the car. And probably when you expand to a new market, maybe you have to have them in maybe they remove them in Austin, but they put them in the car in California. Do I follow the YouTuber Cyrus Jansen? No, I have no idea who he is. How the U.S. has doomed its future by priority. Oh, I haven't followed that YouTuber, but I think a lot of people are saying that. I mean, Jeff's saying it right here. Jeff and Mark Benioff are saying it right here. There was a crazy tsunami. I don't know if Krabi, but did Krabi get hit by a tsunami? Maybe. Krabi's not really geographically as exposed to tsunami as Phuket is. We're sort of sheltered in a bays, and there's like spots that are a little bit more exposed, but most of Krabi is sheltered. For best results, maybe start dressing like the old timers, less t-shirt and shorts, etc. I'm not worried about what other people think of me. I just like being around Thai people. I occasionally go hang out with foreigners. Actually got a Japanese friend we're hanging out with tomorrow. We hung out with a British guy last night. But with the ups and downs of Tesla stock, I often have to take my Tesla Air sweatshirt off midday. Thank you for that. Yeah, the t-shirt thing is kind of dying out for me. We'll see. Maybe I can get a Thai. The company that makes my t-shirts and is really slow at getting them to people. What percentage of foreigners are American? Very low. Not a lot of Americans in Thailand. It's Brits, it's Russians in some parts, it's Chinese in other parts. There's parts of Bangkok that are like heavily Japanese or heavily Korean. But it's like the opposite side of the world, so Americans don't come here as much. Are there still 0 accidents in the start of Robotaxi? As far as I know, 0 accidents. The Thai old timers will appreciate it being military. Look, if I go to a government office, I wear pants and a nice shirt. If we go out, I might wear pants and a nice shirt. But, it's day-to-day basis. If I'm going to pick the kids up at the school or going to a market to like get some food, or we're going to a restaurant, I don't dress fancy for that. I didn't dress up last night, did I? No, I just wore shorts and a t-shirt last night. Will Trump and Elon ever resolve their feud, in your opinion? Seems like Trump really did treat Elon like family before the feud. I don't think that that's going to resolve. I think that Elon is going to go forward with the third party, and Trump is going to attack him more and more. Um, when the third party manifests itself and it starts challenging races, Trump will attack Elon. I think that's my prediction. I don't know. I think that you're going to see in 2026, like we won't see much of it this year. It'll be sometime in 2026 where it really starts to show up, that they will identify races. They want to run candidates. Candidates will be identified. The candidates will file as America Party candidates. They will be funded. They will run effective campaigns, and they will knock out Republican incumbents and Democratic incumbents equally. Neither Republican nor Democratic Party will have a majority in the House or Senate. The prediction right now is, if there's no third party, that the Democrats will gain control of the House. So if the effect of the America Party is that neither party has control of the House and neither party has control of the Senate, that may actually work to Republicans' benefit if they're smart enough to work with the America Party. My prediction there is that the America Party will get significant seats. They will stop either party from getting a majority, and then the Democrats and Republicans will work with each other to grow spending rather than work with the America Party to cut spending. That the fiction that they're two parties that hate each other is a total fiction, and really they're on the same page. Let's grow government. Let's steal as much money from taxpayers as possible, as long as we can get away with it. And that will feed into 2028 when the America Party, because Elon plays 4D chess. Like if you think he hasn't thought about 2028, he may have thought about 2030, 2032 already. He's thinking how this plays out over multiple cycles. Have I seen the interviews with Trump's family? They can't stand him. I don't pay attention to that stuff. I'm sure there's somebody in Trump's family who doesn't like him. Elon has a daughter who doesn't like, a son/daughter that doesn't like him. Yeah, that stuff's nonsense. Hello from Vietnam. We were in Da Nang for a weekend, for a 3-day. I don't remember if it was a weekend, but a 3-day trip. Da Nang was pretty nice. Da Nang and Hoi An. There was really no good choice in the 2024. Well, Trump appeared to be a good choice. He massively underperformed our expectations mostly. He's still done pretty good in foreign policy, other than tariffs. I think he's doing a good job of getting towards peace in the Middle East and peace, stopping Iran from getting nuclear weapons. Maybe he's going to make progress on peace in Ukraine. I don't know. A second round of Abraham Accords in the Middle East. I think he's making some good progress in some areas. I think he's making good progress on de-woking the universities in America. I think that's really important. I think he's made some good progress in getting rid of illegal aliens. I just think in terms of we were hoping we were going to get control of spending. And I will say, Doge was gave Elon the answers he needs for how do we fix this later. And I bet it gave him ammo for when you're running a race against this incumbent and this incumbent starts to take shots at your candidate. And then a week before the election, the bomb drops. This guy's family got $100 million from NGOs, from the federal government. That's why he's not cutting spending. That guy's not going to win election. If that bomb drops, this guy's family got $50 million. This guy's, because Stacey Abrams got $2 billion. So you telling me that there isn't some Republican committee chair whose family didn't get $100 million or $1 billion? When the people find out how much money's been stolen from them, it's going to get pretty lit. And I think they got 2 more years of stealing money, and then Elon's going to say, hey, if you keep stealing money, we're going to run against you. And by that point, maybe Elon's a trillionaire, and he's got more cash from the Robotaxi cash flowing and Starlink cash flowing, and he says, screw it, we're going to really fund a lot of candidates, and we're going to try to get a majority of the House and Senate and win the presidency. Win the House and Senate and the presidency, and you get reliable candidates. That's a hard part. Elon's really good at picking good people. So you get reliable candidates and you win majority in the House and Senate, or a plurality in the House and Senate, at least. I don't know how much you have to win. And you win the White House. Now all of a sudden you can really cut spending and you can really make America run great. So that's what I think we're hoping for. Okay, I should wrap it up. It's past bedtime. Thanks everybody so much for watching. Thank you to Mark for supervising the chat and moderating the chat. Thank you, Brooke, for being here. Thank you, B. And let's go Tesla and be less wrong. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.